We're commandeering the Adams College radio station in the name of nerd freedom.
There's no greater friend of the nerd than the American DJ.
Gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the universe, here in this great hall of justice, are the most powerful forces of good ever assembled.
Daria!
Do you know that Donald Puzio has a briefcase full of butts?
Mitch!
Butt scanners. You put your butt in the seat. Your butt is completely different than anybody else's.
Every butt's a snowflake?
Every butt's a snowflake.
Dedicated to truth, justice, and peace for all mankind.
Daria, Mitch, and Ted. The Afternoon Buzz.
All right, off we go. Wednesday already. Hi, guys.
Hi!
So I have a question.
Okay.
Mitch, would you say that, well, first of all, those that have been friends with the show for a long time probably know already that if there's one thing, there's many things that make up Mitch. And all of them put together equals fantastic.
Yes.
All right.
But sometimes some of those things taken just on their own equal
Badass.
strange or crazy or terrifying or at the very least unusual. Would you say that one of the things that you're most afraid of or you have the most dread about is awkward social situations that you're involved in?
Oh, boy. Absolutely, positively, yes.
And yet you consistently put yourself in those situations.
I seem to.
Yes.
You're right.
Well, you find yourself in those situations.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, Mitch is in those situations and perpetrating them and not realizing it. For example, his belief that waiters and cooks want his criticism.
Right.
Constructive criticism.
He believes that he's helping them and that they like it and they like him because of it.
Or
Yes.
that after he's
Yes.
had a few drinks in him, he has a proclivity for rubbing men's eyebrows.
It's happened once or twice.
That just happened the one time. But
Yeah, thank you, Daria.
He was very enthusiastic about it. He holds back now. Okay, so I'm gonna present you, Mitch, with some fictional
Okay.
awkward situations involving you,
Right.
and I want you to tell us how you would deal with them.
And by the way, I never really knew that I did this until I started hanging around Ted. Well, when we're at an appearance, if I'm standing next to Ted and I'm talking to a listener, I find that I say something that makes Ted cringe.
Like what?
I can't even give you an example.
It's
He
just
always
like
has
being
this-
out with your dad.
He has this look on his face.
It's probably
like,
something corny.
Probably.
Yeah, more than
Yeah, well, Mitch, I mean, since being on the show, Mitch has been able to be himself on the air for the first time. I mean, it sounds funny to say first time.
I always
because
kind of
it's been
played.
5
I always
years.
played a character. I played DJ Mitch with somebody you didn't know much about his
Right.
personal life
Right.
or anything about his personal life.
Right, because you weren't allowed to come out on the air,
Right.
so you had to kind of put on this persona.
Yeah.
And at times when we're out at events and things like that, you slip back into
Radio Mitch.
Yeah, like the
It's a defense mechanism.
morning DJ guy.
Yeah.
And that's
me.
what makes me cringe.
But we also make fun of you, Ted, because
Oh,
whenever
yes.
you have to record a spot or answer the phone,
hi, it's Ted.
you turn into strange, high-voiced young boy Ted.
Customer service Ted.
Yes, because that's my previous job.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's very strange. Okay, so and my previous job was a high school teacher of special needs kids. And we don't need to go into how that manifests itself, but with you guys. But you can probably tell.
Wait a minute.
Okay, so
Hey.
Wait.
no, that's not saying anything about anything. It has to do with my reserves of patience.
Oh.
And also, listen to what I say. I know best.
Yes.
So, here's a potential situation. Tell me how you would deal with it,
Okay.
Mitch. All right. So, our boss, the big boss, we have so many bosses in this building.
Layers and layers.
yes.
But the big boss, the one everybody answers to, is Aaron.
Right.
Okay, so picture this.
Okay.
You are in the little cafeteria area, and you're
Okay.
getting some delicious hot tea.
Okay. I'll run into Erin often when I'm getting hot tea and
Because
coffee.
her office is near that
Yeah.
area. So you are walking down the hall. You have 2 cups of steaming hot tea.
Okay.
She's walking towards you. She has an "Oh, hi, Mitch" look on her face.
Yes.
You have your big, smarmy, cheesy, like butt smooching high face on as well. And just as you're about to greet her, you trip over something.
Oh, gosh.
And lurch forward, and both cups of steaming hot tea drench the front of her shirt,
Oh, my
which
gosh.
is white, and she's wearing a bright pink bra underneath.
You're going to make me sweat. What would I do?
Yeah.
I would rush her to the ladies' room, I think, and tell her
Okay.
to take off that hot the shirt with a hot liquid on it.
You would take her into the bathroom
I would
and tell her to
stay
take her
outside
shirt
the
off?
door, but I would escort her in there, and I would say, put cold water on it.
Ooh, this is a fun game.
Okay, however,
I would call for help from another woman.
The closest bathroom
Yeah.
is occupied. The door is locked.
Then we'd find the
You've got to now march her through the office.
We'd
Yeah.
scurry to the men's room. We'd find a sink. Well, there's a sink in the
Men's room's taken by Classic Rock. No, Classic Rock guy just
I would
walked out
say,
of the men's
Aaron,
room.
run to your office. I'm going to go get some ice water. Take that shirt off and your undergarments if necessary.
You're going to tell the boss to take her bra
She could
off.
have
She's got glass doors on her office. People can see right in
See
there.
We're
right
going to a
into the
studio.
office.
We're going to one of the dark studios. That's what. Go get in my car. Go get in the Chevy
Get
cab.
in my car and take your bra off.
Drive home naked. That's the only thing you can do at this point.
Get
to
in
save
my
your
car
skin.
and take off your bra.
105.1 The Buzz. The Afternoon Buzz with Daria, Mitch, and Ted.
Daria, Mitch, and Ted. Portland Bridal Show is this weekend at the Oregon Convention Center. Ted's the master of ceremonies.
One of them.
One of the
I'm
master
the
ceremonies.
co-host for the fashion show.
Excellent. Give me all
Oh,
that.
irony of ironies.
Are you wearing a tux?
Possibly, I may be wearing my own suit.
Well, you
I'm
can
still
wear the
waiting
heck
to
out of
find
that
out.
suit, sir.
Yeah, it's my nice tailored Michael Kors suit.
Very good.
Very nice.
Well, if you want to win tickets to see Ted in his suit and the rest of the stuff at the Portland Bridal Show, and you can even enter to win that ultimate wedding giveaway worth $20,000, and you can only do it at this point at the Portland Bridal Show. If you want to win tickets, just go to our Facebook page, the 1051 The Buzz Facebook page, and make a comment on the post that I'm writing right as we speak, and we'll draw a winner at 5 o'clock.
So it's a post in progress.
Yeah.
And it'll be up like over the next couple.
So you hear
minutes.
a couple commercials, and at that point, I should have it written.
Okay.
It'll be done.
Let me ask you a question, Mitch.
All right.
Have you ever put on a pretty bridal dress?
I have never put on a bridal dress. They look awfully uncomfortable.
Well, some can be, but they're
Yeah.
not any more so than any other
How do you
sort of gown.
go to the bathroom in it? Because
You
surely
just-
you have a nervous tummy on that day, and you have to go.
You lift it up and hold it up to the front, or you
Okay.
have.
That's why you have attendants.
That's why you have the maid of honor.
What if you're pee shy? How do you go to the bathroom if your maid of honor's in there with you?
They can't see anything.
I guess girls can do that. Can't
Yeah, I mean, hold it then. Don't make it harder
they? You
than
can't
it has
hold
to
it
be.
during your whole wedding.
So,
It's not good
Mitch,
for you.
Mitch,
Yeah, hello.
would you put on a pretty bridal dress and walk around? I don't know any particular bridal shop or the bridal show.
No.
Just hold on. Would you please, put on a pretty bridal dress and veil?
Yeah.
And heels, and walk around with your hands sort of out, like in a sort of like pushing someone away, pose to the side.
I like the
put your
veil
elbows
idea.
bent.
I've thought to myself, it's a shame that men can't wear veils. If I was a woman, if I was having a bad day, if my eyes were puffy, if I had a zit, I would have a veil on 3 or 4 days a week.
Oh, it's one of my great joys that we stumble upon these things with you.
Wouldn't that be awesome to have a hat with a cool little veil on it that you people?
Yeah, no,
then it's
it
kind of
would.
private.
Yeah,
People
kinda
can't really
would.
see you. You can go shopping that way. No
it's
one.
like a beekeeper mask.
It's exactly like that.
Think
No
about
one
how much people
knows-
made fun of Michael Jackson for doing that.
Who cares? You're in a veil. You can't see them looking back at you that closely.
Well,
I
you
guess.
can. It's not. I mean, it's not a one-way mirror,
I
two-way
would,
mirror.
I would love to wear a veil.
Okay, well, you get to wear the veil for sure. The veil is a definite go.
Okay.
But
There's
just
nothing stopping you outside of the
put
scenario.
on a pretty princess bridal dress, and then
Okay.
just walk around and sit and greet people.
I would look awful in a dress. I did
don't
drag
know. I don't
one
think you
time.
would.
I looked ridiculous.
It's about attitude. It's not
Ted
entirely
looks good in a
body
dress.
type.
What are you
because
talking
Ted
about?
has the attitude.
We've seen Ted in dresses, and he looks fantastic.
I look horrid in dresses.
We have never seen you in drag.
No.
We have only your word that you look terrible in drag. I tried to do your eyebrows once. I thought they looked beautiful.
I looked like
very Joan
Joan
Crawford-y,
Crawford.
a little bit of Eddie Lamar, and you went right across the men's room and washed them off.
It was awful.
But not before you ran into a bunch of male DJs from the sports station.
Yeah, they're still afraid of me. You're not getting after 5 years.
105.1 The Buzz. Stalk us on Facebook. Facebook.com/1051 The Buzz. Seriously, we like it. 105.1 The Buzz. Buzz from Hollywood.
Oh, was that loud?
A little bit loud. We're
Moving the
adjusting
mic.
microphones.
Paris Hilton ordered a petting zoo for her birthday party last year. The miniature menagerie featured a lynx, a porcupine.
Can't pet a porcupine.
Can't pet a porcupine.
No.
Squirrel monkey and sloth for guests to meet. I wouldn't think that would be a fun experience.
Not at all. You want miniature goats? You want an alpaca?
Yeah.
That's
you
your
want soft,
a pony,
touchable things.
a piglet.
Sloth? That must have just been like what they had. They're like,
Here's
here,
what we can
take
get
this
you."
guy. Yeah. Paris loved the animals and made sure that handlers were humane before she worked with them. But Paris is not the only celebrity to love animals.
Oh.
Clint Eastwood is obsessed with a squirrel called Lola.
Oh.
The director-actor came across his furry friend on the Warner Brothers lot in Los Angeles. Now insists on leaving the door of his office open when he is working so that Lola can stop by whenever she wants.
Isn't that sweet?
It's so odd.
How does he know it's a girl? Like, well, they have big little, you can tell a boy squirrel.
You're thinking of that internet photo, aren't you?
I am. That's exactly what I'm thinking of.
A source said, Clint leaves the front door open whenever he's inside working so Lola can come and go. He gets a kick out of watching her, and he always keeps a bag of shelled peanuts on the bottom shelf of a bookcase.
What a nice guy.
In case she gets hungry. Clint would be so upset if Lola disappeared. He enjoys her company. Okay, so that's,
Isn't this how he got Sandra Locke?
it's a dear little story. Yeah, she's got sort of like those, she's got the eyes of the creatures that you see in the red light portion of the zoo. Okay, so what's amazing, though, Ted and Mitch, is that not only do we have this story, we actually have the audio of the little poem that Clint Eastwood wrote about Lola.
Oh, cool.
Because he loves her very much.
Sure.
And
he likes to write songs and poetry.
Love inspires poetry. So let's waste no time. And here's the Clint Eastwood poem about his beloved squirrel Lola.
Yeah, look at me. I'm Clint Eastwood.
Stop it.
I met her in the lot of my studio with a fuzzy tail and dark eyes that said, "Why, hello, la, la, la."
No.
La, 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 la,
I believe
la,
Clint
la.
meant to say Lola.
La, la, la. She likes peanuts, so I got her a bag, and I fed them to her while my man boobs sag. Oh my, la, la, L-O-L-A, la, la, Lola, la, la.
Sort of.
I shut my door. She scratched on the glass. I said, "Do you want more peanuts?" She said, "Yes." My scrotum's gray, and I'm not gay, and it's always going to be that way. My squirrel is Lola. I don't have Ebola. Liaya Coca. Venti triple white mocha. Row your boat. Chicken bone makes me choke. Iowa caucus vote. 555 fold. Zoda. Zum zimmy zoda.
Oh, there you have it.
Oh, very nice.
For a cold read, I think Clint did an excellent job.
Can we not do any more cold reads in 2012?
That was a movie poem about a man's love for its squirrel named Lola.
Ted, for the replay, can you do it? Please.
According to a new study.
I heard.
Seriously.
Right.
According to a new study, you'll get the most out of your workouts if you watch porn before you hit the gym.
Ooh, that makes sense.
Researchers in the UK, why does it make sense, Mitch?
Because you see people in great shape and you think, wow, I want to be in great shape like that. I want to be toned and buff and
That's not the reason.
hard body. Oh.
The reason is because watching it produces testosterone.
Oh, okay.
And that's what you need for a good,
Well, that makes sense.
successful workout.
That makes sense, too.
After watching an erotic clip or an aggressive clip like a UFC fight, the players reported stronger training sessions. Watching sad clips had a negative effect on the workouts, and they only tested this on men, so they can't say whether watching porn will lead to better workouts for women. Remember, though, this is about building up testosterone, so when you watch the porn, you have to keep your hands off yourself, or else you won't get the proper effect. But it doesn't say anything about while at the gym.
Gosh.
Finally, quickly before finally, in sports news, after weeks of negotiations, David Beckham has announced he will remain with the Los Angeles Galaxy soccer team. Wife Victoria responded to the news by looking starving and bored. And last Thursday afternoon, 34-year-old Edward Brown of Chicago, Illinois, was at a movie theater. He was, picture the scene, he was at 4 p.m. showing of Alvin and the Chipmunks Chipwrecked. This is a rated G film. About 30 minutes into the film, Edward stripped naked.
Oh, no.
Stood up from his seat in the front row and slowly turned and faced the crowd, which was made up of parents and children. The cops got there very quickly and arrested him, but he had an excuse.
Okay.
He told them he hadn't even bought a ticket to see Chipwrecked. He said a woman led him into the theater and told him, go sit in the front row, get naked, and get ready to have some sex and do some drugs together.
Oh, okay.
So, according to the story, the woman, who the cops never found, wanted to get high and have sex in the middle of the afternoon in the front row of Chipwrecked.
Oh.
As women do.
Of course they do.
Edward was arrested for sexual exploitation of children and disorderly conduct, but Mitch's mom got away clean. That's the buzz from Hollywood.
Daria and Ted, coming up in News of the Weird. What is turning one animal species into zombies, and could it happen to us? Plus, what on earth is causing thousands of amphibians to spontaneously explode? We'll find out in News of the Weird. Coming up.
105.1 The Buzz. The Afternoon Buzz. With Daria, Mitch, and Ted.
Okay, Mitch, I have another awkward social situation for you, a fictional one that I'm going to place you inside and see how you get out of it.
Okay.
Okay. You and Derek have a friend who lives out of town. Let's just say that he's gay, but it doesn't matter for the intents of the story at all. Or does it? It might. So this friend says that he's thinking about moving to Portland.
Okay.
But he doesn't really have any money, and he doesn't really have any place to stay. So could he crash on your sofa or in your guest room or whatever for a few days while he kind of figured out the layout of the city and whether or not he wanted to stay and live here? So you say yes.
All right.
Because I know you would say yes.
Nah.
And
No, you would think this way, but you wouldn't actually say it. You would say
I
yes.
would say yes.
Yeah, of course you would.
Yeah.
So this person also not physically attractive.
All right.
I'm just going to throw that wrinkle in.
Okay.
So
How do they smell?
they smell all right, not great.
Well, they're going to learn to smell great in my house. They will be taking several showers a day.
So this person moves in quickly. 3 or 4 nights turns into 3 months.
Time to. They would never turn into 3 months.
Okay, let's say it turns into
a week.
A week and a half.
Okay.
And
What do you mean, Mitch? You've had party guests that stay for 3 days.
And I didn't like it one little bit.
It doesn't matter.
That
if
was
you,
a safety issue.
The question is not, do you like it? The question is, what do you do? Because in that case, you did nothing except go out on a tampon run for one girl.
And provide them with meals.
I was trying to be.
And let them pee on your bed.
It's not good. You're combining a lot of weekends together there.
So it's a week and a half.
Okay.
This person is
making any attempt to find an apartment or get out and see the city?
You don't really feel so. A lot of times he will play World of Warcraft with Derek.
Yeah.
And he'll just kind of hang around. He's nice to the dogs.
Yeah.
He's there when you leave for work.
Well, a lot of
when you
times-
come home, he's
Right.
there.
It doesn't matter what he does during the day. He's there whenever you're home.
I wouldn't like that to begin with at all. Someone in my house when I'm not there. Not a fan one little bit.
Okay.
No, I mean, week and a half turns into 2 weeks. I think at 2 weeks you have a chat.
All right. What does the chat entail?
Just that Derek and I we're private people. We like our
Yeah,
routine.
but Derek loves this guy.
Yeah, Derek wants the guy to stay
So
indefinitely.
I'm the bad guy.
Yes.
Yeah, great. So we go out when Derek's not around. Say, I'm a private person. I like my routine. I like the house just
He
the way
says
it
Derek
is.
says I can stay as long as I need to.
You know, this is like a fear of mine. I had a relationship.
I'm trying to find things.
And
in our
it was a
fears of
brother.
yours.
It was a brother that came to live, and he was only going to be there for a week and a half, 2 weeks. This seriously happened. This guy would never flush a toilet after going number 2. Finally, one night, I was in bed with my partner.
Can you even imagine
at
how
the time.
crazy Mitch would get?
Well, number 2, let it stew.
Yeah.
I had it was the most embarrassing thing. I had a face mask on.
Number 3
a green,
would it be?
that's greenish face mask. I was trying to tighten up my skin. I was in bed with my partner at the time watching television, and this guy Brad.
Did you have rollers in your hair
I
too,
did have rollers
Grandma?
in the hair. Brad comes home. He has a friend with him. I don't know if it's a romantic interest, a friend. And he and the friend come in the room and say goodnight and start making fun of the way I look. They were parked behind me. I drove my car through our flower bed, through the front yard, and stayed in a hotel that night. Brad left 2 days after that. So
Would it have to come to that, you think?
it would come to that. I'm not a fan. No, you sit the person down and say, you're taking advantage of me. I'm sorry. I want you to learn to love the city. You got to get out and see it. Get out of the house.
I know you would say that so many times at first, and then it started to not work.
Because you could never bring yourself to say, get out.
No, I don't think you could.
Well, my actions would show that I
Like
want you
what?
driving the car through the flower
What is
bed
that?
to
Okay,
the
I'm that
front
guy.
yard.
What does that matter to me? Why are you ruining your yard?
Because you know how upset I am,
Doesn't
obviously.
care.
Clearly doesn't care.
You think I'm non-confrontational when it comes to someone in my space.
Yeah.
Looking at my stuff, looking through my
You will let
shaving
them
kit.
stay for at least 3 or 4 days with meals.
once in a while, Ted. This is different. No, you have a talk with that person. You sit them down and say, no, it's time for you to go.
They say no. Derek says I can stay.
I'm calling 911. I'm calling the police. Get out. If I have to forcibly...
I wondered how long it would
remove you. I will drag you out
call 911.
My house.
Wouldn't you just do citizen's arrest?
I will arrest you, take your stuff, throw it on the curb, and taser you. Get out of my house, you freeloading bum.
Buzz with Daria, Mitch, and Ted.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
1051 The Buzz. 1051 The Buzz. Daria, Mitch, and Ted. With the bizarre, strange, the potentially untrue, the news of the weird.
Daria and Ted, our first story has a picture, so if you're near your computer or your smartphone, hop over to 1051thebuzz.com, click on blogs, the news, the weird. It's a brand new year, so what better time to welcome to the world another bizarre piglet from China.
Oh, friend for man pig?
I hope so. Our collection of odd little porkers started years ago with the discovery of a piglet born with a face that resembles that of a man.
Man pig.
We bring you man pig.
Hello, man pig.
And now another bizarre little piggy has entered the world.
Oh?
This piggy has two snouts and one gorgeous, sweet, giant eye right in the middle. A two-snouted pig.
Cyclops two snouts?
Cyclops two snouts. We've had
Cyclops two snouts.
we've had something kind of similar, but not this exact formation of a pig before. And you may feel bad for this little guy, but don't, because as always happens in these situations,
He can see for miles and miles.
He can see for miles and miles and miles.
He can
see into your soul.
He's treated as a deity.
He is treated as a deity, and the farmer says he has a great appetite.
How is that an eye?
Yeah, that eye looks...
I'm assuming it's an eye. What is it if it's not an eye? It's an eye.
Well,
I think that's an eye. The report I saw said it's an eye.
If you were to ask...
Yeah.
Okay, this is sort of like when you see a picture that extreme close-up of something, and they're like, guess what this is? And then it pans back, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's a cornfield, or it's like a ladybug.
Yeah.
So this looks like, at first glance, it looks like the anus of a creature with snouts for legs.
He's perfectly healthy. He's got a great appetite. And what always happens, the farmer's going to spare him from the dinner table and raise him as a two-snouted...
Who's going to eat that?
People that like pig snout, or Anthony Bourdain and Andrew Zimmer and those guys that eat pig snout. You'd have two pig snouts for the price of one, Ted. Be a good thing. So he's going to be a playmate, hopefully, for Man Pig. Hopefully,
I have a new friend.
I don't know. I think Man Pig might snub him.
Really?
I think
Let me take a look.
Man Pig wouldn't snub anybody.
Man Pig's not
Man
feeling
pig
it.
have enough friends.
Man Pig loves all.
Too strange for Man Pig.
Man pig frightened.
You're on your own,
Man
Cyclops
Pig.
two snouts.
It's full of nothing but love. All right, Daria, another animal story for you.
Godspeed to you.
Another strange animal story for you. We've heard for the last few years that our honeybees are in trouble. Something's causing colonies to collapse in huge numbers, and if the honeybees go...
It's a parasite.
It's a parasite. If the honeybees go, we all go.
Which I've been saying since the beginning. I might
Was
point
that
out.
your theory?
It's not a theory. It's scientific fact.
Well, how come the story's just crossing the wire today? Did you do some research?
Scientists have said that it's some sort of virus for a while.
Yeah.
For a different kind of bee. This was the one for the honeybee.
Oh,
It's not
really?
a virus, Ted. It's parasite.
What'd I say?
You said a virus.
I meant virus.
Yeah. What is happening is the interesting part. It's turning the bees into zombies. Zombie bees. Zombies. Yeah, scientists from San Francisco State University say these it's a dead fly parasite.
I'm
is what
sorry,
it
but
is.
that's adorable.
It enters the stomach. It enters the stomach of the bee.
If you could get it, like tie a string around it.
Honey.
Yeah, and I would want it to be Bumble rather than Honey. I like it to be the big fluffy one,
Right.
and then you just bring it down close enough to you, but hold it on enough of a leg to where it can get your face, and just have it be a little close up of its face, all zombie-like. That would be so adorable.
What it does is it gets in the bee's stomach and
The fly.
the fly, this little parasite. It's called a dead fly parasite. But it's not really a fly. So the teeny tiny little thing gets into the bee's stomach and causes the bee to seek out bright lights, to leave its hive, the safety and security of its hive, and then to walk around in circles, just round and round and round and round in circles until it just becomes disoriented and dies.
Okay, so what's the purpose of this fly thing doing that? Because, that happens in nature sometimes.
Right, yeah.
They hitch a ride or whatever else, and it's for the survival of their own species.
Exactly. What
so
happens?
How does this behavior help the little zombie fly?
What happens once the bee dies, the pupae, if I'm saying that right, P-U-P-A-E, I looked it up and listened to this pronunciation pronunciation. It's like pupa. The pupa from that parasite then emerges from the throats and heads of the dead bees. It's safe because it's no longer in the hives. The bees won't eat it, and then it finds another host bee, and the cycle emerges all over again. It's the circle of life is what it is.
But larva of a fly eats dead tissue, so couldn't we just wait for the fly to give birth and then
eat itself?
Yeah, no, the offspring would commit matricide.
Well, I guess it could, but we can't really control what these parasites do.
I think that we can.
In a world where we can put little leashes on zombie bees.
If I can leash up a bee, I can freaking make the larva eat its own mother.
Finally, one more strange animal story for you, Daria and Ted. Something very odd, very peculiar is happening in Hamburg, Germany. Something that would appear to be a horrific scene from a scary movie.
Something weird and horrific in Germany?
Yes, imagine that. Something so awful, health officials have started to panic. Right in the center of the city, thousands of toads began to puff up and explode. This is like my worst nightmare. Puff up and explode, leaving their nasty toad entrails splattered over an area that is covered over a square mile of the city. The tabloid press in Hamburg is added to the fear. They're calling Hamburg's once beautiful town square the Pond of Death. They're warning children and animals
frogs
to stay away from the exploding toads. Now, there are all sorts of theories.
Okay, what are they?
One of the theories is perhaps the toads were depressed
sad toads.
about the lack of marshmallows.
Probably that, so they just hold their breath till they blow up.
They committed a mass suicide.
Right, that is very likely because a lot of times when toads are sad,
right, nothing's worse than blow up. Sad.
They like to clench their noodles and
disenchanted,
just blow up as much air as they can.
Toad.
Yeah, I can't go on. Oh, I hear that's how the first Kermit got it.
Maybe it's a parasite like the zombies. Well, who knows? Maybe it's a fungus or a fungi. It was truly a mystery, and it's had real financial impact on the town of Hamburg because who wants to go to dinner? Who wants to go shopping if you think a bunch of toads are going to explode on you?
Me.
No, you wouldn't. So authorities turned.
That'd be kind of fun.
Knowing this story, and if I went to Hamburg, I would be so disappointed if it didn't happen. There's like a toad there, and I'm like, come on, buddy, do it. Jump.
Gallagher fans?
So they turned to toad expert Dr. Moochman.
Honey, I've got the camera. Go stand near the toads.
Of the Berlin Research Center for answers.
Are you sad, little toad? Are you sad?
Oh.
Nobody loves you, huh?
Do you know where your parents are? Success!
Oh, I got it. That was a good one.
Dr. Moochman examined the frogs and noticed...
There's probably footage of this on YouTube you can find. I'm going to go look.
There would be a great... There actually is some footage, yeah.
Of the frogs blowing up and exploding?
I'm sure there must be.
Probably. Let's see. So let's see. Frogs exploding.
Professor Moochman.
Germany.
Moochman. He examined the frogs and noticed they all had something quite bizarre and macabre in common.
A tiny little piece of dynamite strapped to their bellies.
Their livers were missing. All the toads' livers were missing, but there were no bite marks or scratch marks to indicate a raccoon or rat had attacked them. But upon closer examination, there was something else that each exploded toad had in common. There was a tiny, tiny circular incision on their back.
Vampire.
What was making this cut, though?
Vampire. Frog liver eating vampire.
No, Dr. Moochman had the answer. Crows. Crows in Hamburg had developed a taste for froggy foie gras.
What?
Froggy foie gras, froggy livers.
So they know where to find it.
They know where to find it.
They search it out.
Yeah, Ted. Right. And they were clever enough to realize the toad's back.
And they replace it with a bomb.
Or poison. The only part worth eating is the liver.
One crow was like...
But it doesn't kill the frogs.
I wonder, all my buddies died because the frogs are poisoned. But if I made an incision with my beak, I could probably go right there and get the tasty liver that I know is in there.
You had it with a nice Chianti.
And then it worked. And then he's like, hey, all other crows, do this.
Listen up, guys.
Your beaks. Find a toad. Do the thing in its back. Within will be liver.
But that doesn't kill the frog. That's the really, really weird part. The frog can live without its liver for a while.
Until they explode.
Until it realizes, because it doesn't even feel it happening. It's like, what's that on my back?
No, they probably don't feel it happen.
Hardly feel it happen.
They probably don't feel it happen when they're cut open and their livers are taken out.
Is this the guy that's referred to as the Mad Dr. Moochman?
All of a sudden, the frog does realize something doesn't feel right.
And the shock of it.
The shock of it causes it to puff up.
Yes.
Because the liver's not there, all the organs just go.
That's usually what happens. I mean, who hasn't heard of scaring a frog and see them blow up?
They'll be hopping down the street. Hopping down the street, and then one will be like, Doug,
you don't have a liver.
What?
105.1 The Buzz. The Afternoon Buzz with Daria, Mitch, and Ted.
So yesterday, Lady Gaga reportedly left a large amount of a blood-like liquid in the bathtub of a London hotel.
Oh, no.
No one is saying for sure that it is blood, but
What else could it be?
Oh, it could be anything.
Ugh.
A housekeeper freaked out, alerted the concierge.
That's got to be one of the roughest jobs in the world.
Housekeeping?
In a hotel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would sabotage things. I really would. I would be like, you would be... I would clean the toilet first and use the same rag.
That probably happens more than we want to think about.
The first, I wouldn't right away. Like, I'd try to do a good job.
Uh-huh.
Sure. First time some traveling jackass is mean or inappropriate to me, I'm like, from now on, it's poop water. That cleans your nightstand
Wipe
and your
the glasses
remote.
on your...
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Wipe glasses on my butt.
Yeah.
Or worse. That's worse than my butt.
Oh, no.
The concierge told her, just forget about it. So, of course, what choice did the housekeeper have than to take her story to the internet?
Oh, of course.
The housekeeper said that Lady Gaga could have been bathing in blood as part of a satanic ritual.
Oh, no.
Another source said that the hotel's staff were convinced she was bathing in it, or at the very least using it as part of one of her new costumes or weird stage routines.
She's zany.
Again, no one is sure if it was real blood or if it was just something that looked like blood. And even if this actually did happen, there's a pretty high chance, considering the source, that it's just a blood-like liquid that Lady Gaga's using for just like one of her outrageous stunts. So tell me this, 888-733-5105. 888-733-5105. What's the weirdest thing you've ever found in a hotel room?
Ugh.
Or a motel room?
Like you check in and this is there?
Yeah. 888-733-5105. Or it can be, I prefer it to be a hotel room or motel room, but it could be or at home of person you're staying overnight with.
In a hotel, first thing you should do when you check in is look under the mattress.
For bodies?
No, dirty magazines. You will find dirty magazines.
I've never found a dirty magazine.
2 out of 4 times.
No, you won't.
But since when?
That is a lie.
Who buys dirty magazines anymore?
You got porn on the TV. You got your computer there.
Maybe you're right. A friend of mine was a housekeeping manager for Marriott, and he said it happens all the housekeepers would find stacks of them at the end of the day.
Really?
Dirty magazines. Yeah, because if you look at the dirty channel in the hotel, it's like $14.95 a month.
That's price prohibitive.
Sure, they don't put
Whereas
the titles
those
on your bill.
magazines are a bargain. 888-733-5105. Your calls after this.
105.1 The Buzz, the afternoon buzz with Daria, Mitch, and Ted.
If you were in a hotel, Mitch, and you were a man on the lam and you had to commit a murder, how would you do it in a hotel room?
Well, you can push them off a balcony, I guess. That'd be a good way to do it.
Clearly, he's thought about it.
I haven't thought about it.
Yeah,
at all.
you
had a quick
answered with
answer.
no hesitation whatsoever.
That's the obvious thing you would do if there's an atrium. You push them on the inside of the building. If there's a balcony, you push them on the outside.
Note to self, do not travel in same hotel room as Mitch. 888-733-5105. What's the weirdest thing that you've ever seen in a hotel room, motel room? Prefer those, or you can just have like the house of a person you stayed overnight with.
Hi, Tanya. Go ahead.
Mine's not a hotel room or motel room, but it was my friend's house, and I went into the freezer to grab some ice out of there, and I'm like, oh, well, what's this in this little silk bag? And all I know is my friend ran over and she's like, do not look in that. And it was a glass sexual toy that you keep in the freezer.
Wonder why you keep it in the freezer.
Well, I guess that's the preference of what it's used for.
Was it ice or was it
pleasurable
glass?
Frozen.
Well, no, it was glass, and it went in the freezer. Well, then you have to see it. You know perfectly well, Tanya, that when everyone went to sleep, you went back to the freezer to get a good look at it.
Well, at that point, yes, my interest was piqued because I'm like, what in the hell could be? And I'm like, okay, now I have to see this. And she's like, oh my God, no! And she pulled it out and showed me. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me! What? Well, we run it through the dishwasher was the comment that I got. I'm like, you have this in your freezer.
How could you enjoy a tasty Hot Pocket knowing that was sitting right there next to it?
Was it shaped like banana?
Similar, yes.
Okay, was it for putting inside of something?
Yes, it was.
And you wanted it to be freezer cold?
I'm assuming so. That was the choice of preference of it, but it could be warm or cold, is what I was told.
Well, it's going to have to be warm because
you'd
cold
want it
is
to be.
ridiculous.
Sounds awful.
That is ridiculous.
I suppose maybe if it was a really hot, sweltering summer day,
Well, even
that could be
then,
refreshing.
think of like no. I'm here to tell you no. And any of you straight men out there that think maybe she would like, no, she wouldn't. She wouldn't like it.
CJ, go ahead.
Okay, so me and my wife were staying at one time, and we were there for the weekend. You know, I always look under the bed. The first night, there was nothing there. The second night, there was a nice big white vibrator underneath our bed.
Now, wait a second. The same
wait.
room that you were in the previous night?
Yes.
So someone came in and planted this?
I would assume
CJ,
CJ.
I don't know.
You need to have a talk with your wife. It is hers. She pretended to. I don't know how that got there because basically, CJ, she's having a little of her own pleasure time.
Oh, well, I know that wasn't her.
Yeah,
I'm telling you it is.
It was hers. Except that it was hers, CJ.
Well, I would have noticed.
No, you wouldn't.
No, clearly you didn't.
Laura, go ahead.
I was 18 and on a mission trip down in Jamaica,
Yeah.
and we got to go to a week in Kingston, and so I get into my little room in the YMCA that they have us at, and open up the desk drawer, and there's a whole bunch of pot in there.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, that's not mine. Somebody needs to take that out. And they thought I was crazy for reporting it, and
Yeah.
well, I was on a mission trip. Come on now.
Sure.
That was a test that God put in front of you to realize, Laura. They're like, let's see how much Laura really has her heart behind spreading my word. And then he like zap thunderbolt, and there's a drawer full of pot.
Pass, Laura.
And so the guy from the manager person comes up, and he looks at me and goes, "You can't even smoke that. It's way too old."
Yeah, let me just take that out of here
This
for
is
you.
useless.
This is useless.
I
better just put it in my car.
I'm going to throw it away.
I'll
You
get
can't
away. I'll get
smoke
it for
it.
you.
I'll just take it, and it won't be in your drawer anymore. It's old pot. Throw it away, old pot.
Go ahead. Take it
Everybody
away.
knows once the pot gets old, there's no smoke in it. So
Carrie, go ahead.
Well, I'm calling in regards to the hotel.
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
One time, me and my children, when they were really young, went to this hotel that was in Washington. And when we got there, we set down our stuff and didn't really look around. And the kids were jumping on the bed. And underneath the bed was a plate with a beer bottle and two old hard-boiled eggshells with some egg in it.
Well,
So when we left, because we were with a big group, we left for dinner, came back, and I noticed by our bag was this little white thing. Well, it was moving.
Uh-oh.
The maggot.
Oh.
So we lifted up the bed. I went and I told the lady at the office. The bed, when they lifted up the bed, it was like it snowed 2 inches underneath the bed. It was so disgusting. And then she went and vacuumed the maggots up.
And give you another room?
and then said goodnight.
She did give me another room, but the room that she gave me had an occupant in it, so we ended up finding another motel.
Wait a second. They
Here,
put
you can sleep in this room. This is Jim.
He's a sound sleeper.
Yeah, it's Jim. This is Carrie and family.
Although what you could do is just take the mattress off,
Gosh.
leave the maggots there, put a new sheet down. It's like one of those massage chairs.
Magic fingers. All right. Okay, so more of your calls. Weird things, weirdest thing you've ever found checking into a hotel. And also, in just a few minutes, along with your calls, I have an email. The subject line is regarding weird things at hotels. It is going to scare Mitch.
Oh,
boy.
no.
So bad.
Hooray.
Right after this.
1051 The Buzz. The Afternoon Buzz with Daria, Mitch, and Ted.
Okay, as promised, here's the email from Buzz listener. She's at work, so she couldn't call in, but she says this is related to finding weird things in hotel rooms. So, Mitch, for the purposes of this story, I want you to picture the couple
All right.
as you and Derek.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm pretty sure this is an urban legend, she writes, but it has stuck with me since I was told by a friend of mine back in college. She told me her aunt and uncle, Mitch and Derek, went on vacation in Hawaii. They took their camera along with them everywhere they went. When they got home, they were reminiscing and looking at all their photos. And halfway through the progression of photos, there were 3 photos of them sleeping in their hotel bed.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, that just gives me chills from head to toe. Can you imagine? Oh,
if it's possible to retroactively crap your pants.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that is the most
scary?
unsettling thing I've ever
One of
heard.
the greatest pranks I've ever heard of.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
That's bizarre. I don't like that one little bit.
No, it's super scary.
Yikes.
Let's hear some more. 888-733-5105. Let's wait. Should we wait for these?
We have time now.
Do we have time now?
Yeah, we have time now, yeah.
So these calls are the strangest things or weirdest things you found in a hotel or motel room when you checked in.
Hi, Mecca. Go ahead.
I was checking into a hotel with my daughter in Seattle. We decided to kind of do a mommy-daughter day, and we went up to Seattle, and when we checked in the hotel, she took the car key. Most kids, like to open up the door to the hotel. It's a whole new experience. And we got up to the room, and she opened the door, and the weirdest thing we ever saw was actually another couple already in the room. And what I explained to her at the time is that they were just tickling each other.
Why does that never happen to me? That would be the greatest thing to see ever.
Well, you say that. You
I'm pretty
big
sure.
talker. But what you would do is, you would exactly. You would turn bright pink like you are right now, and you'd be like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry!" Slam the door so hard the whole hotel shook. You act like you're just gonna stand there like freaking.
Yeah.
Oh, don't let me interrupt, please.
And then you'd have to change hotels because you'd know that every bit of the staff would know what happened.
Hi, it's a Buzz. Go ahead.
Hold on a second. Tanner, shut the door. Go inside. Sorry, I didn't want to tell you guys my story in front of my 6-year-old.
I understand. What's your name?
This is Sean.
Sean, go ahead.
I just wanted to tell you a motel story. It's probably been at least 10 years. So I'm one of those people that have phobias about that top blanket they put on top. I was told by somebody that they don't ever wash those, so as soon as I get to the hotel, I grab that, pull it back, and I throw that on the floor.
I put that in the closet. Yep, that's the first thing I do.
Yeah, because Mitch doesn't even want to know that it's in the room.
No, this is so disgusting. You guys probably won't even want to share this.
No, we don't like disgusting things on the air.
So I take the top sheet, or that top cover blanket, whatever they want to call it. I pull it back, and there's a condom stuck to it.
Oh, man. Sean, I have to say, when you preface it like it's so gross I can't even say it, you've got to realize that given the caliber of content that we often debate and discuss on the show, we are expecting nothing less than dead, rotting hobo.
No, this was not a fresh condom.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, what you don't know is that the lady who called before you walked in on people
And if it was a condom filled with human
Oh my gosh!
Glad you got your kid out of the room.
So I beg your pardon if the used condom to top sheet is somewhat pop-hoss. Love you, Sean.
105.1 The Buzz. The Afternoon Buzz with Daria, Mitch, and Ted.
What is it now, January 3rd?
January 4th already.
4th?
2012.
Ugh. Okay, so January 4th. We're already the only house on the street with our Christmas outdoor lights still on.
Boy, my street's full of them still
really?
on. Yeah.
I feel it's too early for everybody to take them down. And now, I mean, it's a little embarrassing.
No.
They look good.
You're supposed to leave up to the Epiphany, whatever that is. I think
Russian Orthodox Christmas isn't until January 7th.
Okay.
So I think that we're justifying at least through the 7th.
Oh, yeah.
Because Dallas and I are both Ukrainian, so even though we haven't attended Russian Orthodox Church per se,
it's just so depressing.
I know.
Like, what do you do? Because when you put them up, you play Christmas music, you have Christmas cocktails. What do you do?
What do you do to make it happy when Christmas ends? What do you do to prolong the festivity? For some people, that means delaying and taking down the tree and decorations. That is the case in our house. It's getting worse every year. This is our first Christmas in our current house. Last Christmas, we were in Vancouver over the holidays. And it's a house that lends itself to Christmas decorations.
Yes,
why don't you just commit and make yourself the weird house that has Christmas all year round?
I can't do it. I can't. No, because Halloween I like to decorate too.
Well, you need to do a Nightmare Before Christmas theme.
Oh, no, that's not.
You've got to take the tree down, though, before it starts getting decrepit and
It's
brownish.
so beautiful.
Ours is perfect looking.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking to get rid of it.
Is yours still up?
Absolutely, yes.
888-733-5105. Do you have any holiday end traditions that help things be less like gruesomely sad in your family? Do bear in mind with any of your calls that we affirm the existence of Santa on the show.
Oh, of
so
course.
anything that suggests otherwise, that call will be dumped immediately.
Well, this was our first year with doing Christmas at home with the kids, and so we had to do that. We took the tree down last night, and so we
sad. It's so
Evie
sad.
was heartbroken, of course, because as with Halloween, she wants it to be that holiday always.
So
right?
do I.
Yes, but I explained to her when we took the tree outside, we set it on the side of the house. We're gonna. Get rid of it eventually, but we told her that, of course, that Santa Claus will come and pick the tree up and take it to the North Pole and store it for us, and then replant it when it gets fall time again, and then we have to go out and try and find where our tree is. So we'll go to a Christmas tree farm and try and find our tree again.
That's brilliant.
I think it's genius.
Yeah.
I think that's genius. 888-733-5105.
Doesn't help me any, but I'm still sad. But it's good for Evie, I suppose.
Mitch has different theories about what happens, and it doesn't make his heart as warm. Maybe you can tell yourself that as you're dragging that. But also, did all of you read or encounter in some way the Hans Christian Andersen Little Christmas Tree story?
No.
Oh, Mitch.
No.
Ted?
No.
The Hans Christian Andersen, I don't even want to share it. It's like the saddest story in the world. First of all, Hans Christian Andersen is, to the Grimm brothers, he's like the super, super, super sad of fairy tales. Whereas, like in the real Little Mermaid, spoiler alert, kids, she dies.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she turns into a spray of foam on the ocean.
Oh.
One of his saddest ever stories is the Little Match Girl. He's responsible for that.
Okay.
Oh, that's the saddest story of all.
It could be the saddest story of all. He's also I imagine him sitting around in Denmark or Sweden or wherever the hell he's from, just being like, this'll get him. This'll get those little bastard kids. Another one is the Tin Soldier, and the Tin Soldier loves a paper doll.
Oh.
And they can never be together because they live in different worlds and they can't move because they're toys.
Oh.
And then at some point, like, he falls into the fire and the little paper doll is blown by a wind into the fire, and they burn to death together. But then when you open the fire door thing, because it's like one of those things, they're melted together in a little tin heart. Who cares?
Dead. They're dead.
They're dead forever in eternity. Okay, so the Christmas tree, the Hans Christian Andersen Christmas tree story, which was a tradition in my sad house. So there's a little tree that lives in the forest. This is gonna stick with you and bother you.
All right.
There's a little Christmas tree that lives in the forest, and all he wants his whole life is to be a Christmas tree.
Oh.
It's his number one ambition and wish, but he's picked over because he's too small. Hims just wants to be a Christmas tree, and each Christmas he sees a lucky tree being chosen and taken into the house and lit up with candles and goodness, and he's like, someday that'll be me. Someday that'll be me. And then one day he's big enough and he's strong enough, and they come and they cut him down, and he gets brought inside and he gets decorated, and children love him, and everybody, it's the warm fire, and everyone's
What a
like,
great story.
He's as happy as he can be.
The end.
Not the end. Like if it was a normal fairy tale person, it would be like the end, happy ever after. But Hans Christian Andersen's like, that's not good because kids aren't crying. So then he takes him to and then like phase 2, he was dragged outside, but he had popcorn and stuff on him. So the little birds and animals of the forest, and he's like, I miss the children, but this is still pretty good too. Until he becomes a fire hazard and burns to death.
Oh no! The Tin
Hans
Man
Christian
and
Andersen,
paper doll there.
is very big on things freezing or burning to death.
Him. That's
I
awful.
do too.
Oh.
HCA, just a Christmas bastard. 888-733-5105. Your calls after this.
105.1 The Buzz, the afternoon buzz with Daria, Mitch, and Ted.
We were talking about when Christmas ends, what do you do to prolong that holiday feeling? I just keep all the decorations up.
Lit him up. What does it hurt?
It looks so good. I can't even tell you. Like we have a big wooden staircase that winds around the corner in this house, and the staircase is all covered with fake poinsettia garland, and then wound white fairy lights around that. And it's like it should be that way all the time.
It takes so long to put it up. It's not fun taking it down.
No, and I feel like...
hate it.
Well, and also, I was unconscious for most of the holiday.
So you need 2 more weeks of
no,
Christmas.
seriously, that's true. I didn't even think of that.
Leave 'em
So
up.
there you go. There's your excuse.
Okay, there we go. 888-733-5105. Go ahead.
Hey, our annual Christmas traditions, along with watching Die Hard every Christmas Eve,
Good girl.
is Santa Claus can't come without blood and guts beforehand. And then as soon as the Christmas tree is ready to be taken out, it moves out on the front porch to live at least until the first snowfall, which I don't know if we'll get that this year or not. And it lives out there until I can bear to finally take the lights off and say goodbye.
Oh, you put on the front porch the lights and everything on it still.
Lights and everything on. The house lights are all down, but the lone Christmas tree remains lit every night until I can bear to say goodbye.
I had a Christmas tree. I pulled it out to the side of the hedges because I was like, I just can't be... and of course, I was way too late for any sort of Boy Scout or anything pickup. So I dragged it out to the side of the house and I kind of hid it. And then finally, I'm like, I got to take the damn lights off this tree. And because it was covered in lights. And it was so dry and prickly and awful that each time I tried to untangle these damn lights, they would get more tangled and it would hurt me. So finally, I was just like, F it. I took scissors to it. I cut all the lights off and then I like stepped on it and broke it. And then we burned it. Just like Hans Christian Andersen would want us to.
All right, thanks for your call.
Coming up next, 888-733-5105 with your questions for our Wednesday guest. This week, it's Dr. Lee Robinson. He's a plastic surgeon specializing in the face outside of Lake Oswego. And he's awesome.
He's a
here
great
right
guy.
And
we love him.
A jet setter. He just like, he's tired because he's jet lagged because he just got back from Monte Carlo and Geneva. This is what my nose paid for.
1051 The Buzz, the afternoon buzz with Daria, Mitch, and Ted.
Daria, Mitch, and Ted, and cosmetic surgeon Dr. Lee Robinson is here.
And questions for Dr. Lee Robinson. Again, his area of specialty is the face, but he can answer any plastic surgery or non-surgical procedures like Botox, etc., that you might have at 888-733-5105. So what is the thing that gives celebrities, or anybody, but celebrities, of course, we see more often, that look of really overdone plastic surgery? Like somebody like, have you seen Kenny Rogers before and after?
Oh, yeah.
Kenny Rogers is in unrecognizable as the man he was before. Like he looks
like a wax figure of himself.
Right, like Mickey Rourke.
A bad wax figure.
There's another one. Meg Ryan has gone through some pretty horrific changes over the years. Yeah. Why does that happen?
They're just overdone.
But what procedures have they had done, do you think, that just they went too far and did too much?
Well, in Kenny Rogers' case, his whole deal was the eyelid, too much taken out, basically. And then he got some droopy lower lid thing, had to have the eyelids shortened a little bit, which decreases the width of the eye, which makes it look just
These little pinholes for eyes.
Yeah. It's
so he inadvertently made his eyes smaller?
Well, he didn't inadvertently do it, but that is a side effect of getting the lids.
Oh my God! We're looking at photos right now. If you don't know what we're talking about, just look at Kenny Rogers, like era The Gambler, and then look up a picture for Kenny Rogers today, or just look up Kenny Rogers plastic surgery.
It really doesn't even look like.
No, I'm telling you, it looks nothing like him.
But he's a handsome man. It looks good, I would say.
No, it doesn't.
You don't think so? It just doesn't look like him.
It doesn't look good.
Just a weird little tiny cat eyes.
Yeah, that's the weirdest part to me, is that he made his eyes beady and awful.
You gotta
know
he didn't
when
do it.
The surgeon did it.
I
know, but he did it. You know, it wasn't like
to put the scalpel down.
It wasn't like he just went there to the surgeon and said, "Do whatever you want, doc. Like I'm here to. If you want my eyes to be pinholes,
what always
la."
Scares me as a celebrity figure. They can afford
the best.
And if they're not getting the best, it scares me. You know,
well,
sure,
I
you're
don't
the
think
best.
I don't think it's that they can afford the best. They can
no one will
afford
tell
a
them
lot,
and no one will tell them no.
Yeah,
they can.
You got to know when to fold them.
Hey, there we go.
That's right.
Know when to run
fast.
So what about fillers? Because Kathy Griffin, the comedian, had gone through a period where she was just getting all this stuff done to her face, and she's like, you know what? I'm going to say no. I'm going to step back. And within a couple of years, her face came back to not to normal, but much more normal looking.
Well, fillers plump things up, and if you plump things that aren't naturally plump, then it's going to distort and not look natural. And a lot of the Most of the fillers we use now are a 6 month, maybe a little more than 6 month duration to them. But there are some that are a year to 2 years in duration. And if you don't over-inject and re-inject, then they'll gradually revert back to where you would have been.
Would you then recommend to people that if they want a filler done to maybe
start slow?
Yeah, to maybe try the one that only lasts 6 months. And
well,
if they love it,
absolutely.
then maybe go back
in fact,
and try one that lasts a couple
that's
years.
essentially our policy in the office. Other than one of the fillers, Radius, that we use is used down on the bone to augment, let's say, cheeks and that sort of thing. But beyond that, if patients are getting wrinkles done, furrows, lips, that type of thing augmented, we recommend that they start initially with something like Restylane, Juvederm, because in the really small outside chance that you don't like it, which hardly ever happens, but if there's some issue with it, you can dissolve what you've injected with an enzyme, and within hours it'll be gone.
Wow!
So it's reversible.
888-733-5105. It's a brand new year. A lot of people at this time of year start to think about a brand new them, a brand new you, and wanting to sort of present that to the world as a brand new face, or at least an improved, youthened, whatever type of face.
Yeah.
And are maybe thinking about having procedures done. Dr. Lee Robinson can answer your questions about those procedures. 888-733-5105. I want to share a story really quick.
Oh, cool.
So about a month ago, I went in to see Dr. Robinson, and I was like, my chin, fix it.
There's nothing wrong with your chin.
That's what he said. He's like, I'm not going to do anything to it. You're being, ridiculous, basically. And I'm like, So then I explained further, like, what my problem was, and that was when I talk or smile, like when my face is still, which is never.
That's right.
But when it's totally still, my chin looks fine. Mm-hmm. It's when I start talking or smiling or emoting or whatever that it gets all these like almost like cellulite ridges and bumple things in it.
I don't see it.
Never noticed that before.
No, but I noticed
don't know
it
your
all
bumples.
the time.
So there's nothing
and
you
you're
can
not
do
going to
about
notice it now. No, there is. He said go in and ask for some Botox in that area.
Oh, well, that makes perfect sense.
And
doesn't it?
you'll still be able to speak, smile, frown, whatever.
But no more bumples.
It'll paralyze those bumple muscles.
Good.
And it won't have that weird cottage cheese flattened out look. And he was right. And so for like a couple $100, it seems to me like I've had my whole chin done.
Wow, money
Isn't
well
that
spent.
remarkable?
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's crazy. 888-733-5105. Your questions for Dr. Lee Robinson. We'll be back after this.
1051 The Buzz. The Afternoon Buzz. With Daria, Mitch, and Ted.
1051 The Buzz. It's Daria, Mitch, and Ted.
And your questions for our plastic surgeon resident friend, Dr. Lee Robinson. 888-733-5105.
Hi, Rich. Go ahead.
My question is in regards to, it's not a facial thing. I have kind of a barrel chest. I'm pretty lean, around 11% body fat, but no matter what I do, I can never get like the six-pack or the Atlas belt around my obliques. And I'm curious, what do you do about that?
Would you do a tummy tuck on a man?
Tummy tuck wouldn't give muscle definition. There are ways of doing, depending upon the amount of fat that people have, and everybody has at least a little bit of fat around the abdomen areas. There are a lot of the guys that do abdominal and body contouring with very small cannulas and will actually liposculpt to get the fat, what little bit of fat is there in patients. Like 11% body fat's not a lot, especially for a guy, but you can actually sculpt out, the definitions in the rectus muscle.
Wow.
That is what gives you the six-pack look to abs.
Could anybody do it? Could I still be chubby everywhere else and just have the perfect six-pack abs? That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Well, they probably wouldn't be perfect, but
you're not saying no.
I didn't say no.
So I could do it.
No. But that might be something to explore anyway. Now, obviously, everybody's a little bit different, and the amount of musculature people have and volume of muscle is all different, and how people respond to certain exercises and that sort of thing is all different. But at least that is one way of possibly approaching it if you want to get a little bit more definition in those areas.
Oh, thank you.
You bet.
Thanks, Rich.
Okay, and we had a question from a woman who did not want to go on the air, but her question was, what is a mini brow lift, and how does it differ from a brow lift?
Mini brow lift. Well,
it's smaller.
It's smaller, but I can only imagine that it's there. She's probably alluding to doing a brow lift through not the conventional full coronal incision, which is an incision that goes from about an inch above the ear on one side over the top of the head to the other, and utilizing instead of that multiple small incisions and doing the dissection or elevation of the brow tissue off of the forehead area with an endoscopic brow lifting.
Do you do that?
I don't personally do it because I don't feel that the long-term result, meaning what patients look like a year or two after that procedure, really holds up as well as the gold standard coronal brow lift does. And it also raises the hairline just like the coronal brow lift, and there is a way of actually lowering or doing a brow lift and not raising the hairline by doing another type of a brow lift. It would not be considered a mini brow lift, though.
What does a brow lift even do?
It raises your brow.
Your eyebrows?
Eyebrow, yeah. It raises, like if you just put your fingers on the mid part of your forehead and lift up a little bit, lift up a quarter inch, half inch, and you notice that the eyebrow, you can lift it up a little bit higher above the eye.
Yeah.
And in some patients where it's abnormally low, it's something that we'll entertain or look at and consider doing in conjunction with, say, an upper lid procedure or sometimes with facelifting, that sort of thing.
Interesting.
So,
who do we have on the line?
We have Debbie. Hi, Debbie. Dr. Robinson's ready for you. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm curious about the neck. You know, when you gain a little bit of weight and it starts getting a little, it's like straight down and then it gets a little puffiness, like it's right above where your thyroid would be, I guess, maybe.
Okay, just underneath.
Where the guys have the bump.
Okay.
Where the guys have the Adam's apple. Okay.
Right. There's an area that we describe as the submental area, which is between the chin and the Adam's apple or laryngeal cartilages. Yeah. And as patients gain a little bit of weight, depending upon your heredity, it will accumulate there a little bit and give a little pooch there. If patients, for the most part, patients, I would say on the average who are younger than, say, 40, will oftentimes benefit from just making a very tiny incision just behind the chin and suctioning out some of the fat there. And then dressing, putting a little compressive dressing on there for 24 hours. Keep it from bruising and swelling. When patients start getting a little older, then you have to balance how much volume you're removing, balance that with how much skin laxity there is or how much elasticity there is still left. Because if you remove too much fat and the skin doesn't sort of shrink wrap in that area,
flop there, right?
It'll just flop, and instead of it being full, then you'll get more of a band or waddle or some loose sort of floppiness there that isn't necessarily a good swap after paying money and having some time off work and doing that sort of thing. So,
you know what I wish that they had ever showed on Harry Potter is like a middle-aged witch, like a witch teacher, and she had a wand, and then she just went into the bathroom and she said like tighten up the faces, and then she just would like touch, and every little area that she would touch would just tighten up and shrink up and just go into position, and like then she'd walk out looking 10, 20, 15 years younger. And that, folks,
I wish I had one of those.
That is what an actual wizard at the Academy would do.
That's all the time we have for this go around with Dr. Robinson. You can find him online at drleerobinson.com.
Also linkable from the Daria, Mitch, and Ted page on 1051thebuzz.com. Glad to have you back from your world travels, Doc.
It's good to be back in the good old home country.
USA! USA!
1051 The Buzz, the afternoon buzz with Daria, Mitch, and Ted.